Dude, what are you looking at?
Um, Dude, I need you to promise me something.
Sure. What's up, man?
I need you to never be a booktuber.
What? Why?
Well, you'll never be in the real world. You'll always be off, kind of thinking about books and what book and video to create next. Hey, did you hear me? Hey, are you paying attention to me? Dude, I'm serious. I'm talking to you. Did you hear me?
That's so funny, Bunkin' Bronco.
Dude, you're not even paying attention. You're sitting here reading a book.
How to make a rope swing with no ropes. He's got it in his nose. Hey, Uno, what'd you say? Dude, where'd you go?
I literally walked off the camera there.
Hey,
well,
I was reading a funny book there. It actually was funny.
Welcome to the CodeX Cantina. I am Una.
And I am Crypto. Nope, that's Shel Silverstein.
And today we're doing The Rocket Man by Ray Bradbury, which was published in 1951.
Rocket Man.
Yeah, actually, it was. This inspired the Elton John song. It's not a coincidence. It literally inspired that song.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because we've talked about how influential A Sound of Thunder was in terms of, having a relationship with science, I guess. I don't want to say influenced it, but it had relevance to the butterfly effect. This literally was the genesis of the Elton John song.
He's a big reader of Ray Bradbury, huh?
Yes. So if you guys are new to Ray Bradbury or this channel, please consider subscribing down below. We do literary breakdowns. Let's jump into this. I've got a quote for you where we're going to do quotes, we're going to do the plot summary, and then we're going to do a full breakdown. So in terms of quotes, I've got, Dad was always listening or singing or watching things on all sides of him, holding on to things as if the world were a centrifuge going so swiftly that he might be flung off away from us at any instant.
It's interesting. I like the symbolism there.
Yeah. Did you have a quote?
No, this was very short. I figured you'd have one and it'd be enough for us.
All right, we'll do a quick summary and then we'll do the breakdown. So in a different timeline where astronauts are few, they work for 3 months at a time. When Dad was home, he wasn't really spending good time with the family. He starts off gardening and in the dirt, but always ends up looking up at the sky. Family soon goes on a trip to Mexico. The dad makes the son, Doug, promise not to be a rocket man like him. Warns him he'll always miss his other life. They eat a meal together on the last night before the dad leaves for another trip, and the mom goes to get bread, even though there's bread on the table. Before he leaves, he talks to Doug about death being very quick. The next day, a canary sings, and he announces he's going to stay home after his next and final trip. Later, the mother explains to Doug why she always ignores his father. She always thinks of him as dead to help her cope with the inevitability. She'd never be able to look at Mars or Venus if he were to die there, as they'd be a constant reminder of him. Later, the father is left, he's gone, and they get a letter that the dad passed away in the sun. The mother says, "Don't tell me anything I don't already know." Doug and the mother avoid looking at the sun, as that is how he died. And that's the end of the plot.
So sad.
What do you got for me in terms of talking points?
So obviously it's very easy to pick out the foreshadowing of this one. The canary singing is him going to die. Back in the day, before they had modern ventilation in the mines, the Comstock lode mines, they would go down in there and they would bring some sort of little animal, and traditionally they brought in little birds and canaries, and as soon as the canary stopped singing, then it was dead. They knew that there was gas in there. They had to get out real quick, or otherwise they would die. And so obviously in this story with the singing of the canary, that is foreshadowing that the dad is going to bite the dust. I mean, it's a short story, but still, it's a little bit of reference to how things worked in real history. So
it's the old joke. How fast you have to run to outrun a bear.
No,
faster than the guy next to you. The canary's the martyr animal that you push in front of it.
Yep.
All right, my biggest takeaway actually was that I think that this story was written. Well, I know this story was written just after World War II.
Okay.
And you'll notice this is the story about how a family copes with a father going off to do a deadly task.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So the father, he hears a calling to space. Soldiers...
Call to war. Call to duty.
Hear the call to war, the call to duty. And there's always that comparison of the home life versus the patriotic life, right? When the soldiers want to come home when they're at war, but when they're at home, they feel the duty to be at war. And that's exactly what this father's going through, right? The dad talks about how easy it is to die. We have the canary that dies before he leaves, right? And the father plays that role of the dad returning home like a soldier on the holidays. So how does the mother cope with death in this story?
Accepting he's already dead.
She says, when he went off into space 10 years ago, I said to myself, he's dead, or as good as dead. So think of him as dead. And when he comes back 3 or 4 times a year, it's not him at all. It's only a pleasant little memory of a dream. And that's a very serious thing that I think a lot of Army wives have gone through when they don't know whether and when their husbands are going to be deployed, when they're going to return. They see them very rarely. That this was a very heartfelt way to express this, I thought, to think about the job, the patriotism, taking the father away from the family.
Oh, see, I thought it was very, very pessimistic view on life of just giving up hope and painting such a negative picture for her son.
Well, no, exactly, because usually Hollywood glorifies the soldier, which I'm not saying you can't glorify a soldier, but that's the only view that's presented a lot of times, that war is glorious. And we know that war is also horrific. And we also know that it's very hard to cope with what war means to that family life. And here is the other depiction of it, that she is doing the horrific, pessimistic side of what does war do to the family.
All right, that's a good point. I guess I just, as raising a kid, I would think that you would want to be a little bit more positive. And I don't know, I felt like this, if we're going with that theme, it felt like not that she's anti-war, but she's anti-something.
Well, she's pro-family. She's pro-family.
Yeah. She
wants her family to be together. Yeah.
But she's bitter.
And then it's interesting, too, that you get the son's view. So you have the husband side, you have the female side, the wife-wival side, and then you also have the son side, where what does the son do to his suit, a.k.a. uniform, when he comes home? He goes and smells it. He smells, from Mars, we have iron. Right, iron being the representation of guns, and Mars being the representation of war.
Yeah. And
then also from Mercury, you have sulfur and fire. All representations of war, further driving home that underlining meaning of soldiers going off to war. So you see the son that he's curious about it, and his father kind of nips that conversation in the butt, where he says, "You have to promise not to be like me."
Yeah.
And that's the soldier's view, is that he's doing this so that the sons and daughters can have better lives. And that's what that conversation was at that point in this story.
I think that's an interesting take by Ray as a author, because a lot of military families, are proud to have, or police families, fighters and stuff. They're a lot of times proud to have their sons and daughters follow in their footsteps. And we've had, the last 17 generations have been in the military, in some branch of the military, or, we're 4th generation police officer. And so it's interesting that he does. I mean, again, I don't want to feel like I'm being negative on it, but I feel like this is obviously a cautionary tale, but it's a weird way of how he's making it a cautionary tale, when a lot of times people would not think it as a bad thing for a son or daughter to follow in their mother or father's footsteps into military service, or just follow in the family legacy. My mom is a doctor, I'm a doctor. My dad's a blacksmith, I'm a blacksmith. I mean, just that way of life, that you do what your parents did.
Yeah, and I think that's why this conversation came up. And like you said, there's a lot of different ways families can look at it, and this is a version of it, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I like the how he takes that very horrific type of job and view post-World War II and turns it into this kind of quaint little sci-fi story, right?
Yeah. I think it's really easy to miss that literary element to this one.
Sure. I mean, because it's so short, and you're just, thinking, oh, he wrote a little, Rocket Man story when there was no rockets yet, and this guy goes away, and blah, 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 and the story unfolds. You could definitely miss that.
All right, so in terms of recommending reading, I did say that Two Soldiers by William Faulkner is another story where you have a child feeling the draw, the pull, the war drums firing for going to war to protect your homeland. So I think that's another good story to check out. And we do have, I'm going to have to guess which side of the screen. Is it on this side or is it on this side? This one? Or one of these sides, I'll put a card to that video. All right, what's your rating of this one?
5.
5 out of 10. Ooh, you slammed this one.
Yeah.
I'm not too far off. I'm a 6 out of 10.
Oh,
I'll give it a 6.
Jerk.
What?
No, you give me a hard time.
Well, I guess I didn't know where you would be on it, but yeah, it's a very subtle, nice piece, but I don't think it's the most poignant or is going to change the lives of some people. A few people at that. I never know. I should say that because I never know what piece is going to really impact some people. If this is something that's really great for you, cool.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, if you lost your father to Vietnam or the Gulf War or something, this could be something that really hits home to you. Or lost your mother and, you just have your dad or something. Then definitely this is something. If you were looking for a death piece, though, there are other ones that we've read that I think are better. Yeah, or explore it probably more in a way that might mean more to most people. Yeah.
All right, guys, thank you for checking out this video. We post videos every Monday and Thursday, and a lot of times we have a surprise third video each week. So please subscribe. We are going to be doing more Ray Bradbury as we have in the past, and we look forward to exploring some more of his short stories with you guys. So
smash the like button. Peace out.